Hi guys, Ray here, City Fan TV. It's been a while. It's been probably 4 or 5 weeks since I last put up a video. I'm on tour in Ireland again. Been here for 5 weeks already. Got another, I think, 3 weeks or so to go, maybe a bit longer than that. And then I'm coming back to England, and I'm touring throughout August in England and Scotland. So you might see me in a theatre near you over the summer. Anyway, guys, what's prompted me to pick up my phone, put the video on and have a chat with you? Well, overnight, hearing stories about Julian Alvarez wanting to leave City, demanding to leave City, and it apparently has rocked Manchester City because it's come out of nowhere. Well, there's a few things about this. I'm going to start off with the reports, okay? And I've said it many times. You've got to be very careful about the honesty, veracity of these reports. Look at the sources and where they've come from. Now, apparently, the source from Argentina, where this story seems to have come from, there is a little error in that story, which initially makes me want to disbelieve the story in its entirety. I'll come to whether I disbelieve it or believe it in a minute. But so this story says that Julian Alvarez has declined Manchester City's offer of a 1-year contract extension that would keep him at the club until 2028. But here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. He's actually got a contract until 2028 already. He signed a 1-year extension last March, I believe, March 2023, with a bit of extra money. Obviously, he had a good season the season before, or that season, sorry. We won, if I remember correctly, we won the treble. Remarkable season for City from Julian Alvarez. And so he signed that contract extension till 2028. Go and look on the City website, it's there. Rob Pollard report on the official Manchester City website last year. So could it be a typo? Come on, guys. If you're going to do reporting, you've got to get it right. It's quite, these details matter. As one film star said, in an investigation, details matter. That was it, Reacher? And it's true, details matter. You've got to get these things right. So straight away, you've got to doubt the honesty, the integrity of this report. And I've said it many times, one person, one outlet puts out a report, everybody else jumps on top of it because they have this fear of missing out, fear of not reporting a particular story when everybody else is reporting it, and that story turns out to be true. So everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. They'll write their own story and then they'll mention the source in passing. So a lot of them are pretending, they've got some intimate knowledge of the situation of Julian Alvarez at Manchester City, when quite plainly, quite obviously, they haven't got any such information. They know nothing. So, but let's just look behind it, okay? Let's look behind it. So, whether the story is true or not, let's look at why potentially Julian Alvarez might want to move on. Well, he featured 36 times for City last season, which in the league, and since you're playing 38 league games, he featured in almost all the games. I, without looking at the stats, I really doubt there's anybody who featured more in the league than Julian Alvarez. Even Rodri missed some games from his being sent off, so suspensions. Edison, I think, missed some games from being injured. I'm pretty sure he missed 2 or 3. Anyway, so whatever, Julian Alvarez was one of the main players at City last season, or who had the most appearances. He scored 11 goals in those 36 appearances, which I think is it's a poor return. It's a poor return because he had the start of the season, he was basically playing all the games. He was starting all games and he was scoring goals. Now, we could look at his performances, and if you take the goals away, sometimes we used to say, chatting with Bernard, that his performances weren't really all that much, but he was scoring the goals. And if you turn it around and say, well, Haaland hardly has any touches, but he scores a goal a game, we're happy with that. Fans are happy. They're not complaining and busting his balls, so to speak, that he's not scoring, he's not involved in games enough because he's scoring goals. So why can't we give Julian Alvarez that same leeway? He was scoring goals, getting assists, and early in the season, the first half of the season, I don't think you could complain. As I said, he might not be happy overall with his performances, but he was contributing consistently, and sometimes that's all that matters. But the latter half of the season, he was on the bench. Pep had picked his starting 11 as we headed towards the end of the season, and that didn't include Julian Alvarez. It's the same as Pep normally, well, he certainly did the previous season, where for the remaining games he has a very much settles first 11 and everybody else coming on the bench, off the bench. And at the end of the season, Alvarez is probably going to look at this. He's played, I suspect, he'll think, out of position. He's never going to usurp Haaland. We saw Haaland, in not just my opinion, in other observers' opinion, have a very poor patch in the season, but Pep wouldn't drop him. Pep always started him and left Alvarez on the bench. So Alvarez is probably looking at it as well and thinking to himself, I'm never going to be first choice above Haaland, no matter how poorly he might fare for a while, no matter how good I'm going to play, I'll never usurp Haaland. I'll never be first choice. I'm always going to be second choice. Now, he's going to look around that team and he's going to look at players who are not going to be dropped. You've got players like, who else? You've got, right, at the moment, KDB, okay? Even KDB's missed out a little bit towards the end of the last season, but you would expect next season KDB to be a mainstay. Even though he's knocking on, you'll still say he's a mainstay. Foden, he's undroppable, okay? On the left, really, if Doku starts off well again, that's Doku's place. If Bernardo Silva stays, he's on the right. There's rumours of other players coming in. That kid from Girona, I forgot his name now. But there's a lot of competition for the other places, and there are not many other places. When you forget, if you take out the defence and Rodri, okay, that's 6 positions gone. Okay, Haaland's not getting dropped, that's 7. Foden's not getting dropped, that's 8. Probably KDB's not getting dropped, that's 9 players. Okay, and if as I said, if Bernardo stays, Bernardo plays, that's 10. So Julian Alvarez is fighting with Kovacic for some games. He's fighting with Doku. He's fighting with Grealish and anybody else that we get. It's tough, and probably the kid is looking at it and thinking, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. And maybe he's not backing himself enough, or maybe he just sees the writing on the wall and he wants to move on. There's a link I read this morning with PSG. So that's an interesting link, because you suspect there's not many places that he can go, really, that he'd want to go, that could afford him. I can't see him going to Barcelona or Real Madrid. They've done plenty of spending. Barcelona are looking at getting Nico Williams, aren't they? And so I don't think they're going to have any spare capacity to spend money. Real Madrid, what do they need him for? They've got plenty of good players, so I can't see that as an option. Where else can he go? And he really wouldn't go anywhere else in Spain because it's a huge downward step. City's won the treble one season. He's won the league to make it 4 times on the bounce. He's won the World Cup with Argentina. I think the Argentina stand a good chance of winning the Copa America. So he's a serial winner. I had someone saying Spurs should be in for him, and I just thought, I did one of my impolite replies. Why would a serial winner want to go and play for serial losers? It wouldn't make sense. But so what are his options then? If we're not looking at Spain, I can't see him going to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich are trying to sell players, and they've just bought Elise, so I can't see him going to Bayern Munich. Anywhere else in Germany, what's the point? Because unless Leipzig wants him, because obviously they're in the Champions League, they won the Bundesliga, that would seem a decent place to go. France, the only place is PSG, and that's it. Then you're looking at England. He's got no significant ties to City, so I don't see moving around England as an issue. But who'd want him, and how much would he cost? That's going to be another thing. Now, Pepe's pretty straightforward. If you want to leave, he lets you go. That's it. If you're unhappy, he lets you go. Because there's no point having unhappy players. We've got a cracking squad. We'll just get somebody else in. And we've got other players. If Alvarez is not there, then Doku and Grealish are fighting for one spot currently. But we've got more players coming through the ranks. There's some of the kids coming through, and we can easily go and get somebody else in. That's what we do. We spend money, we buy players. So Pep was quite happy to let him go. How much would he cost? That's the final thing I'm looking at. How much will he cost? I suspect we would want at least 60 million quid for him, at least, and I suspect he's worth that. How old is he? 23-ish? He's not old. He's got so many years ahead of him. He's on a long contract till 2028, so he's got 4 years left on his current deal. So he's in no great bargaining position. I just think it's the fact that Pep and City, the hierarchy, will let players go if they're unhappy, just move them on, and then get somebody else in if we need to. So 60 million for me would be the minimum. But you're looking at a player who he's won everything, with Argentina, as I said, the World Cup, probably get the Copa, and with City's won all these trophies and been a main feature, except for the last few months. So he's got to be worth at least 60, probably, I would say 80 million, And if someone was desperate, you'd be asking for 100, if you hadn't asked to leave. But since he's asked to leave, I think City would say 60, 70 million would be a decent amount. So final thing was actually, who in England can afford him? Liverpool, people saying Liverpool should be interested. United, you won't be going there. Arsenal, they've got plenty of quality players and taking some of our, I won't call them dregs, but, we're taking some of our ex-players, like Zinchenko, he went off there, Gabby J. And I actually think Alvarez will be a step up on Gabby J. And I think he'd be a good member of the Arsenal squad. But would Arsenal pay 60 or 70 million quid? Would City want to sell to him? So I actually don't think he's got many options at all. I'm looking at, realistically, the PSG is the one serious option. Chelsea, you can throw them into the melting pot as well, because they just throw money left, right and centre. But whilst I see the errors in the report, I can see very good reasons why Julian Alvarez would want to move on. I can see City being amenable to that. I won't say happy to let him go, but would just accept it and let him go and get somebody else in. So watch this space. It'll be very interesting to see what happens over the summer, to see whether this report is true or just made up rubbish. Guys, if you are new to the channel, please think about subscribing to the channel. Give us a thumbs up, give us a like. Always nice to get some positive feedback, and put your comments in the comment section below. Do you think Alvarez should stay? Do you think he should go? What do you think he is worth? Do you think City will miss him? Who would you get to replace him? Lots of nice questions there, guys. Come on, get in the comment section below and get commenting, basically. But take care, guys, and I'll see you around soon.